Okay, hey folks, it's Professor Vitt. We're just going to run through the class schedule, just very roughly, the order of topics and an overview of each of the topics. I'm going to try to keep this video short. One thing that you should take away from this video is this very first line here where I state that the schedule is subject to revision by the instructor. What I mean by that is that there may come a time in the semester where I need to give students more time to work through a module. I may get a flood of emails when we're working on logic and somebody says, I need more of the time to finish this material. I'm struggling with it. I have some questions. In the event that happens, I reserve the right to change the schedule for your benefit. However, I promise, right? I shouldn't cross my fingers. That would negate the promise, right? I promise that I will never shorten your due dates. So I will never say, oh, well, I said in the syllabus it was due October the 21st, but I meant September the 21st. I'll never do that. That would be terrible. Sometimes, I do my best to calibrate the topics and how quickly we can move through them, but sometimes people are simply unique and classes are all a little different. And when that happens, I reserve the right to change the schedule for your benefit so that you can get through it. Likewise, remember, once a module is closed, so once we hit, say, September the 9th for the first module, then that module closes and it's no longer available to you. If you do not think you will be able to finish a module in time, contact me prior to the due date, and I'm happy to work with you. If you contact me after the due date, my hands are tied because it's not fair to the other students who've worked hard to complete things in a timely manner. That would lower the academic standards of the class. But if once in a while you are struggling and you can't finish something on time, please just avail yourself of me and say, can I have an extension for a day or two? I'm happy to work with you. I understand that things happen and you should never feel like you can't email me or ask me that. Okay, so very generally, the course has 7 modules and we have a paper and a presentation in there. So first things first, the first module is just introducing the course, what critical thinking is, why we do it, and a general outline of what the course looks like. Then you'll take exam 1. That's a multiple choice question test. You'll take it, and then on September the 9th, we will open module 2, where we discuss sources. Very generally, the idea behind sources is this. Suppose you are a baker, and I ask you to make a fantastic cake. You agree to do so, but when I provide you with the ingredients, they're rotten. Rotten eggs, sugar that's gone bad, stuff like that, flour that isn't any good. In those cases, it wouldn't matter how good of a baker you are. If you have rotten sugar or bad eggs, your cake will not taste good. The very same thing is true of your mind. And unless we teach ourselves to vet information and to think about concepts prior to taking them into our mind, we run the risk of generating bad thoughts, bad ideas, and bad beliefs with our brains. And so you could sum it up by saying garbage in, garbage out. That's module 2 and exam 2. Then as we move out of September and into October, Halloween's coming, we'll cover logic and science. Logic is a fairly large module, at least the video's kind of long. I teach logic by using Alice in Wonderland and monsters. I think that's a fun way to teach it, and you'd be amazed at how much you can actually learn by looking at monsters in Alice in Wonderland. There's a lot there, very useful for teaching logic. Science. Science, we'll be covering science, right? But we won't be studying biology, but we'll be interested in what science is as a method. How is science done? What is the domain of science? These aren't things that you might have thought about before, but they're very instructive. So we'll talk about the difference between methodological naturalism and philosophical naturalism. Now, that probably sounds like Greek to you. It should, because we haven't gotten to that module yet. Then, in the month of October, from the 7th to the 21st, we are going to be writing our papers. Our papers are going to be about a conspiracy theory. In the past, the paper has revolved solely around an event that occurred in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The crash landing of UFOs at Roswell. You may have heard of it. We will cover some of Roswell, but we are going to broadly cover conspiracism as it is understood. This is sometimes called conspiracy theories. I think I've just said conspiracy theories. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a descriptive way. And then from October the 21st to the beginning of November, ending November the 4th, you'll be studying alternative explanations to the supernatural. And you'll be looking at oddities of nature and numbers. So what does that mean? Oddities of nature, we'll be looking at specific instances of things that you might not realize exist in nature, and hopefully that will make you make you a little more skeptical when you run into certain claims. It may be that that's a natural event, you just haven't heard of it. Also, we'll be talking about numbers and how your brain works with numbers. As it turns out, there are things that we routinely get wrong about numbers. Now, if you've ever seen my grades in mathematics, you'd certainly say that that's true, but I mean it in a more instructive, kind of fun sense. Okay, moving right on. The first part of November, from the 4th to the 18th, we'll be talking about perceptual errors that we make, things that we get wrong when we are perceiving the world. Then, as we go from November to December, so the 18th through December the 2nd, we'll be covering memory and advertising. People think their memories are very good and faithful to the events as they occurred. They're not. And we will also be discussing advertising and various ways in which advertisers can manipulate you to make you purchase a product that it turns out you may not otherwise have purchased. I'm not anti-consumerism, I'm not an anti-capitalist or anything, but I just think that it's important. People work really hard for their money, and I don't want you to be manipulated into just giving it away. And then lastly, I don't know why, here we are, good. We will be covering our individual presentations those last 2 weeks in December. If possible, I will open that module early so you can get it done. I know December is a super busy time. People have holidays coming up. Also, there's just a lot to get done. Everybody has finals, everybody has a lot going on. Your presentation will not be something that you deliver, you will turn it into me. So you will turn in a PowerPoint, maybe with a small write-up or something like that, that will cover a topic of your choice that reflects the material that we've taught in the course. But don't worry about that. We'll get to the presentation later. So that should cover the schedule of assignments. If you have any questions, please never hesitate to let me know. I'm happy to answer them for you. And yeah, okay, you have done it. You have finished the schedule of assignments video. Well done.